Hey guys, I hope you're doing amazing on this beautiful day. It's beautiful where I'm at, so I hope it's beautiful where you're at. And today I'm going to be talking to you about bringing down boundaries. And this is a huge topic, I think, especially in all our relationships, the people that we interact with. I never really use that word boundaries. I think it tends to be a very popular word that we use, and some people even call it healthy boundaries, however you want to call it, however works for you. Um, and in all my experiences with relationships, I've really learned that whenever I do think boundaries, I tend to more so be keeping people out. So whenever there's that energy of potentially keeping people out or also keeping yourself safe, there's still the energy of fear. There still has to be some fearful thoughts there. It can't be void of fear because there's that energy of, there's something that I need to protect. Usually speaking, maybe not all the time, but I usually think that there's still some of that energy. And a good exercise might be to pay attention to those that do use the word boundaries. I find that some people that use the word boundaries are still keeping some fearful thoughts in some of their relationships they have. Maybe it's a relationship with guys, maybe it's a relationship with coworkers. So what I found that has really opened me to having multiple different kinds of relationships that are very healthy and functional in my life is this idea of not even thinking about boundaries, of really just expanding and opening myself. So Course in Miracles teaches that relationships are assignments. So with that in mind, every relationship that comes into my life, no matter if it's for a second, so if it's the person cashing me out at the store, checking me out, sorry, at the store, or, if it's my husband, I look at every single one of those as an assignment. How is this person coming into my life for me to grow and expand? So when I have that perception, of course, if I'm open as far as like, I want to know how I can expand in this area. It's the challenge sometimes. Yes, the challenge does come in, and my persona is okay. I want to step up to the challenge. I want to know how can I learn from this. So because I step up to the challenge, usually it helps me grow and expand, and it definitely shows me areas in which I can continue to grow. If it makes me uncomfortable, I definitely know, okay, this is helping me grow. Obviously, I thought I was good in this area, but I'm not. But when I block myself off by thinking, okay, well, how can I protect in this area? I need to keep this person away. Then it's different. Then, of course, I'm resisting the relationship. I'm resisting the lessons. I'm resisting what I could potentially learn from that situation. So what I usually like to use is the word awareness. In those situations where I feel something trigger inside of me, something fearful, instead of thinking, okay, let me set up a boundary, let me set up some boundaries so that I can keep certain people off, I actually tend to use the word awareness. I become even more self-aware of myself. So I have a heightened sense of self-awareness, if that makes any sense. More so than thinking about how do I keep people off and how do I keep myself protected, I actually think the question that comes up for me is what's going on with me? What's going on with me at this very moment? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What's coming up? And that's the process that I take, because when I look at that, then yes, I'm not saying you're never, because sometimes people think, okay, so you're saying you're never going to say no, or oh, I'm going to just let people step all over me. No, actually the opposite happens. I have a very healthy relationship with people because I don't have this sense, or I don't have this fear of not being able to say no when I know things are not going to work out for me. But that comes from my self-awareness. That doesn't come from my idea of like, how do I keep this person away because I'm scared of them? It comes from my actual love for myself, that I'm able to think, okay, what's going on with me right now? Okay, like for instance, yesterday I had a couple of calls about, talking on the phone. I was tired. And I was so tired that I knew my self-awareness said, you need time to just chill out. And I miss talking to these people, so I so wanted to talk to them. But I knew I'm not going to be a good conversation person right now because I'm tired. I'm kind of miserable. I just want to relax. I just came from a road trip. So I knew my self-awareness said there wasn't anything inside of me that said, oh, well, why are these people calling me? I need to keep them away. Didn't they know I just came from a trip? Nothing of that. My self-awareness immediately said, but you're tired. So that happens at work. That happens in my relationship with my husband. Whatever it is, I have this awareness of what's being asked for me. I can take the moment to say, oh, okay, well, this is how I feel right now, so maybe that's not going to work out for me. And it comes out in a very loving way, because obviously I'm not putting onto them any of my fearful thoughts of maybe they're trying to get to me, or why are they asking too much of me, or, why do they want me to do this right now? Or why did they even ask me to do this? I didn't even want to do, whatever the case may be in your relationships. And I think that this happens a lot in many relationships. You know, we lack the self-awareness to know what's going on with ourselves, to really be in tune with our own feelings. So we tend to think that we have to let people know in a boundary sort of way, in a fearful sort of way, how to keep it mild. Also, I want to put out there, there's this beautiful lesson in Course in Miracles that is in my defenseless list, my safety lies. So there's this idea that there's nothing out there that can attack you. There's nothing out there that can get to you. You know, there's this other beautiful lesson that says, I'm in danger nowhere in the world. And I love that lesson. And I gave it my own little twist. My own little twist to me was, you know, there ain't shit that can get to me. That was my twist to that particular lesson. And when I think of that and I think of relationships, I think how beautiful would this world be if we'd really learn how to expand ourselves, understanding that we are good no matter what. There's nothing anyone can say to us, nothing anyone can do to us, nothing that we can't there's no such thing as we can't let people in, because no matter what, inside we're good. And if we understand that inside, no matter what, we're good, then we wouldn't be so afraid to let people come into our lives and have interactions with them and, you know, be able to have healthy relationships with them. We let people into our lives, but a lot of us, you know, we put up these walls that we call boundaries or whatever the word is for you, but we put up these fearful thoughts, you know, oh, they did that, oh, this is not going to work anymore. You know, the one time they do something that doesn't suit us, we're just like, okay, that's not going to work. It's really difficult for us to really see this as, okay, let me take this opportunity to open myself up, to understand that we're actually one person. We're all, in the Course of Miracles, in metaphysical terms, we're all one big family. So what really happens is when you choose to see this person as fearful and you choose to block them off and not let the lessons in, what you're really doing is blocking yourself off. So you're really blocking off yourself from growing and expanding and learning things, because you're actually blocking this person off. If you were able to like get to a place where you could let them in and realize it really, when things come up for you, it really has nothing to do with what they're saying or what they're doing, and more so has to do what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're choosing to believing in that moment. If you're choosing to believe in the ego of yourself or in that of that person, because everybody has their own ego, then of course you're gonna want to be like, okay, keep away from me. But if not, then you're going to be able to let the person in. Now, what can happen, which is, you know, this is obviously where most of us are. I know I have this sometimes, and it's perfectly okay because it's all part of the journey. Is that sometimes, yes, physically wise, like spatial wise, we might have to remove ourselves from a situation or from a person because we're not ready to be there. So through my self-awareness, I'm able to tell sometimes like, okay, right now I'm in this space, but my ego is around this person, and my ego's totally throwing me into this fearful mode of what they're saying is pissing me off, what they're doing is pissing me off. I just don't feel good around them. Like, what? They're just getting on my nerves. So, of course, my self-awareness tells me, okay, we're judging, we're putting up walls. We don't want this person in. I'm thinking I don't even want this person as my friend anymore. Whatever the case may be, then instead of doing that stuff, I know to say, okay, forgive. Have the self-awareness to say, this is your shit right now that's coming up for you. Let's step away from it. But even as I step away from it, I need to, and I feel like this is the necessary part of the spiritual journey, to be willing to say, I'm willing and wanting to see this person differently and let them in my space in some form or way. Okay, maybe they're not going to be my best friend, but I don't want to feel this feeling of I have to keep them out, because I know as soon as I have the feeling of have to keep them out, I'm really keeping something out of myself. So I don't really want that. So even if I have to step away from a little bit, I can still say I'm willing to see this person differently. I'm willing to forgive. I have to shift. I have to have a shift from my fearful thoughts of trying to keep away and protect to letting the person in. Yes, is this person going to come in and be my best friend? Maybe not. But, you know, every relationship is different because every assignment has a different lesson to it. So a lot of times people think, oh, well, then, you know, how am I going to let them be my best friend? Well, the truth of the matter is in relationships, people have a hard time letting those that need to come in. And people have a hard time feeling like they can have healthy relationships with those that they need to come in. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of people let a lot of people in that actually feed them in a lot of negativity. And then sometimes it seems like those people that we think we need to keep out are usually the people sometimes that we need to have come into our lives because they're really going to challenge us. And I learned this beautifully through my marriage when I first, you know, started liking my husband or whatever you want to call it. We're talking or whatever. I mean, this guy would push my buttons in every single way. And something inside of me was just like, ugh. And I was like, what is this? Like, this can't be good. And my voice of love luckily was like, but you need to grow. This kind of shows you that you're lacking in this area. You're not able to grow in this area. You perceive healthy to be a certain way. Everything has to be hunky-dory. Everything has to be working well. And what my voice of love was really saying is that's just not the way it works. Spirituality is a lot of growth and a lot of change and a lot of like inside that internal pushing and pulling. When someone's saying something, you're like, there's a lot of that inner struggle that goes on with spirituality. And it was a beautiful thing. Now understanding things, looking back, I think, wow, it was a beautiful thing to really welcome this person into my life, that really pushed those little growth buttons, in a way that it really expanded me and helped me see like, okay, it's okay that they said that, I have to forgive. Or it's okay that they did that and I have to whatever. So much so that obviously my voice of love knew better, and I welcomed this person into my life as someone that I was going to share my life with and have them in my life, for however long we can have him. And obviously, of course, the Miracles teaches we're joined at the mind, basically. So we have a joining of a mind. So obviously his mind is really meant there to challenge me. But I think that if I would have had boundaries about things or felt like, okay, this guy's freaking me out, I have to keep him out of here, you know what I mean? This is too much for me. Then I would have really missed out on seeing myself being able to grow. So I challenge you. It's a huge challenge and it's not easy. And I know that. It's not an easy thing to do. But I know one thing for sure is that I feel that in my journey, I don't know too much about how to expand your business, or I don't know too much about, so I'm really outing myself here. This is a huge outing moment for me. I don't know too much about, how to make a big name for myself or how to do this huge PR marketing campaign about inner ambi. I don't know any of those things really. But one thing that I know that the universe has really helped me learn and understand is how to have healthy relationships, how to work it at relationships. And I have to say, when it comes to relationships, that's where the Holy Spirit, that's where the universe, that's where the voice of love has really taught me how to work it, how to really be a rock star when it comes to relationships. There's tons of lessons that I've learned over time, and I think that's how I learned. When I was a little girl, that would talk to everybody and not pay attention to anything because I wanted to learn that way. When I was in college, I wouldn't go to class, and I'd sleep all day and then hang out with my friends because I learned through my friends. I guess it's the way I learn. So I know for sure that this is a challenge, but I'm going to tell you with all the confidence and 100% knowing that this is not me speaking right now, that listen to me when it comes to relationships. You want to have healthy relationships, start doing the work as far as acknowledging your own stuff, what's coming up for you, have self-awareness, bring down some of those fearful thoughts. You can call them boundaries, you can call them fearful thoughts, I don't care what you call them, but acknowledge them as fearful thoughts of thinking that you have to self-protect, because there's no such thing. That's bullcrap, and it's an illusion if you think that you have to protect yourself from other people. It's a lot more of having the self-awareness to know which areas you're lacking in love, and sometimes, yes, stepping away until you can build up that love and then send it out into the world. But it's definitely about that more so than about trying to keep people out. So I hope this helps you have a very challenging week. It was a lot of information, and I'm sure it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely a goal. I think it's definitely my intention to get people to have more healthy relationships in their lives, with everybody in their lives. And that way we can start becoming, we can join on one mind, and this world can be a better place, because there's a lot of crap going on right now. And we really need to set the intention to forgive and get together instead of like divide and just grow apart. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.